Hi, my name is Dawn, and I work at the Gerbils branch of the Allen County Public Library. Today, I'd like to share with you some information about a really awesome author and illustrator named Susan L. Roth. But first, I have a question. Have you ever made a collage before? Yeah, a piece of paper that you take other pieces of paper and stick to it, and you make a picture just by layering lots and lots and lots of paper? Well, I bet you have. And Susan L. Roth makes all of her art for her picture books out of cut paper and torn paper in a way that is a collage. So let me show you the first book that I ever saw that was by Susan L. Roth. This one came out last year, and it's called Birds of a Feather, Bower Birds and Me. In this book, she describes how her artwork and how her process is a lot like a real bird that lives in Australia. Here's a picture that she made of herself in collage form. Do you see how she's got all those cool pieces of paper that she cut out to make her hair, and her scissors, and her scraps? Here's a photograph of Susan L. Roth. She's been making books since the 80s, and she's made over 50 books for kids. So I'm not quite sure what took me so long to find out she was this kind of an amazing illustrator and author. But this book came out last year. Excuse me. And like I said, it talks about how the way that she makes art is a lot like bower birds. So here's a picture of the bower bird at the end of the story. This is the male bower bird. He's built this amazing structure to attract a female, and he's used all of these scraps at the bottom, I don't know if you can see those, to make his bower look super amazing and beautiful to attract a female. There's the female. In most of this book, she shows on one page what the bower bird is doing, and on the other page what she is doing for her art, and she compares the two. So here the bower bird is arranging and collecting, and then here is her picture of her artwork and how she is arranging and collecting. So it made me curious, what other books by Susan L. Roth are there, and what do they look like? I love collage. I wanted to see some more. So I found this one, Cinnamon's Day Out, a gerbil story. Look at that little guy right there. Let me show you this picture, because she uses more than just paper in this one. To make her pictures look more realistic for these gerbils that are living in a cage, she added, I don't know if you can see what this is. She added wood chips because that's the kind of floor that a gerbil cage might have. So here's her little gerbil, here's his nose and his whiskers and his little black eyes and his ears. And there's his friend over here. And there's all of this wood, actual wood, in her picture that she added to make it look more realistic. Here's another one called It's a Dog's New York. So this is about these two dogs exploring New York. And this one opens up because she wants to show you how big New York City is, right? Tall, tall buildings. In this one, she uses a slightly different way of doing collage. I have to hold it all the way back here to show you the picture first. This is a page about how these two dogs are exploring Rockefeller Plaza, which is a famous place in New York City where there's a big outdoor ice skating rink surrounded by lots of buildings. But do you notice she used photographs to make the top part where the buildings are. And it looks a little crooked, right? The buildings don't look normal because she's got photographs of the buildings from different angles, and then she's cut them and put them together in kind of this cool arrangement. So it doesn't look super realistic because in New York City, the buildings don't go crazy like that, but it gives you the sense that they're tall and imposing and amazing. And then down here, these are photographs of people actually ice skating. And it looks like she used some sort of shiny paper over top of it to look like ice. This one is amazing. Parrots over Puerto Rico. Do you see these birds? She cut a lot of feathers to make these birds. This one also opens up because of the immense sky and how the parrots are flying all over the place. And this one, talks about how scientists study the birds and how they're saving them. And do you see the detail on this picture? First, let me show it from back here. Okay, so we've got jungle, birds, people. Look at the people. Can you imagine cutting all of those pieces of paper out to make those people, including their eyeballs and their lips and their teeny tiny hands. That was a lot of cutting. And then up here, the birds, she did a lot of cutting for their feathers. And on this page, I think it's amazing how she can take something kind of simple, like this forest full of green, but it doesn't look simple after you use different shades of green, different thicknesses of paper, different textures of paper, and you cut out different shapes over and over and over again. It makes the forest look really interesting. That's a picture of the scientists moving the birds from one bower or one aviary to another. So this is the last one I want to show you right now. Prairie Dog song. Instead of cutting lots and lots of feathers, in this book she cut lots and lots of prairie grass. You can see the prairie dogs. There's one, and there's one, but there's a lot of grass in this book. And notice this page. Here she's got the prairie dogs and there's a sunset, right? Did she cut the paper for the sunset or did she tear the paper for the sunset? Yeah, I think she tore it because she wanted it to look kind of jagged, like a real sunset has kind of where one color morphs into another color. And then I think she must have used tissue paper because it looks kind of wrinkly and thin, and it looks like when she layered it, you could see one color underneath the other color. So it looks like blue, and then underneath it is some of that orange yellow that's showing through to make even a darker color right there. So she did a really amazing job of cutting all the grass and the little prairie dog guys and adding some black birds up here in this really pretty sunset. So I wanted to learn more about her art, and so I saw that she had a website. Let me show you the website and show you some more things that I learned about Susan L. Roth. Here is her page, susanlroth.com, and she's got some interesting links. Each of these boxes is a little bit of information about her work. Look at this page. This is called Clean Dirt because she's explaining what this photo is. She took a photo of her floor of her work studio and she just sort of repeated it over and over again, which is why it looks like kind of a tile look. But anyway, do you see how messy that is? Oh my goodness. This is what her floor looks like, she said, as she works and when she's getting really into a project and she's using little bits and pieces of paper. The rest that she doesn't need, she's throwing on the floor to save time. She doesn't take time to throw it away or put it back away in a certain place. She just tosses it on the floor and then it looks like this as she's working. I would get in trouble at home if my workspace looked like that. But anyway, this is her studio and this is what she does. And this is how she works with her equipment. But when she's done for the day or when she's done with her project, she doesn't throw all of this stuff away. It says down here that she has 14 big baskets of different colors of paper and she sorts everything into those 14 big baskets. And then it says that she puts her paper in her paper supply room. Can you imagine having a whole room just dedicated to paper supply? That would be amazing. All right, let me show you one more thing. She also has a list of tools that she uses when she makes her art. So a collage, remember, is paper cut and torn and put together with other things like wood chips and like photographs and other things to make a picture. Well, to make her picture, she only uses glue, tape, scissors, and tweezers. I think the tweezers must be to get things just right, like the eyeballs. You have to put the eyeballs just exactly on the right part of the page. No markers, no glue, no scissor, no, no markers, no paint, no pencils, no pens, nothing else, just this stuff. So I think it's pretty amazing that she could make an entire book with just paper, glue, scissors, and tape. So if you wanted to find a Susan L. Roth book at the library, how would you do it? Well, one way is to go to the library catalog online, which is www.acpl.info, and just type her name in the top part where the search box is. So when we want to look for something in the catalog, we look here. And it will pull up a list of her books. It helps that I put her middle initial in because there are other people other authors named Susan Roth. So Susan L. Roth gets me her work. There's one, Brave Martha and the Dragon. That looks pretty cool. If you click on the title, you get the more information about the book, and then you can also see where it is located and if it's available or currently checked out. And then you can always put it on hold by clicking the place hold button. So I hope you've learned some cool things about a really amazing author illustrator. And if you need anything else about Susan L. Roth, you can always go to the library and ask a librarian. We're very helpful, or at least we try to be. So we'll talk to you later. Bye.